Biafrans all over the world. My name is Emeka Emekesiri, and I bring you a message from the founder, the creator, the originator, the initiator, the vision bearer, and chairman of the original IPOL under the Supreme Council of Elders of Indigenous People of Biafra, Barrister Emeka Emekesiri. The Biafran Independence Project, Moving Forward, Part 1. An address delivered to the Biafrans in response to the call and requests by many Biafrans that Barrister Emeka Emekesiri should provide leadership and show directions for the way forward as the vision bearer of the legal methodology of self-determination. 1. Introductory remarks. This address shall be given in multiple parts. I have been informed that many Biafrans who are loyal to the customary governments under the Supreme Council of Elders of Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, have requested that I should be called upon to provide leadership to the Biafrans and give directions for the way forward. I have also been informed that few people opposed the calling by pointing out my weaknesses and faults, which includes the use of I instead of we in my statements, and that they would like me to relocate and live in Biafra land instead of London. I sincerely acknowledge my faults, weaknesses, failures, and imperfections in the art and science of organizational management, especially in managing the affairs of the Biafrans. Indeed, the little experience I have got so far in managing and advising the Biafran organizations in our teamwork under the elders have proved that much patience and long suffering will be required in providing leadership to the Biafrans. I am willing to learn and grow in knowledge and understanding. Though I was trained in 3 disciplines and qualified as a professional management consultant over 30 years ago, I remain a student of organizational management, social intelligence, and human behavioral sciences with determination to achieve perfection. It is, however, expedient for me to state that leadership and followership are twin sides of a coin, as the failure of success of one leads to the failure or success of the other. It is our collective responsibility in teamwork by which the success is our success and the failure is also our failure. I appreciate the love of the Biafrans who made the observation regarding the young use of I instead of we in my statements. I promise to be more careful in the use of personal pronouns in communications to avoid giving an impression of arrogance, pride, and haughtiness. Nevertheless, I believe in the Christian scriptures that commands us to make honest reports and always give honor to whom honor is due. Therefore, I will never make a statement claiming the glory for what I did not do. I must give honor to whom honor is due, and I request all the Biafrans to do the same unto me regarding my contributions to the Biafran struggle. 2. Acceptance to the call to provide leadership. I hereby accept the call to provide leadership to the Biafrans who believe in the legal methodology of self-determination consisting of the judicial, political, and diplomatic processes under the Supreme Council of Elders of the Indigenous People of Biafra. This means I must work with and submit to the elders of Biafra land who believe in our methodology of self-determination. By accepting this call to provide leadership, I do not arrogate infallibility to myself. I will not presume or proclaim myself the leader of Biafra or the president of Biafra or the prime minister of Biafra. The Republic of Biafra is not yet restored, and therefore it will be foolish and childish for a person to designate himself as the leader of Biafra, president of Biafra, prime minister of Biafra, or head of state of Biafra. At the moment, we have a long-term project at hand. It is the Biafran Independent Project, which in my previous messages was classified into 3 phases, namely A. Phase 1, awareness creation. B. Phase 2, the regional government of Biafra within Nigeria. And 3. Phase 3, the outright independence of Biafra by referendum, just like Scotland is doing now in Britain. I would prefer to be described and addressed as the chairman of the project team. I request all the Biafrans to accept me as I am. In due course, we shall address the issue of relocating to Biafra land if it becomes inevitably necessary, as some Biafrans have requested. Phase 1 of the project, awareness creation, has been accomplished by the pioneer Biafran activists who started the independence movement in 1999, led by Chief Ralph Uwazurike and his Masob members, who I was informed also established the Radio Biafra in London in or about the year 2008, and the Voice of Biafran International in the United States of America. I appeared in the Federal High Court, Abuja, in 2007 with the late Chief Dr. Chimezie Ikeazo San Oboli Obosi II before the Honorable Justice Binta Nyako to advocate for the release of Ralph Wazirike from detention. I also visited him in Kefi Prison in Nasarawa State. I was then the spokesman and public relations officer of Igbo Lawyers Forum in Port Harcourt. Therefore, the year 2007 was when I entered into the Biafran struggle. Though the pioneers who started in 1999 split into various factions, it is my belief that the split helped to spread the message of Biafra further, as each faction tried to outcompete the other. In recent times, the glorious image and honor of the body known as Indigenous People of Biafra, aka IPOB, which was established under the authority of the elders of Biafra land in 2012, with His Royal Majesty, the Honorable Justice Eze Ozobu, OFR. As the chairman was damaged by some recalcitrant and abusive youths who created their own factions and brought the name of the indigenous people of Biafra to disrepute and opprobrium. Our human rights organization, known as Bilie Human Rights Initiatives, also split into 2 factions. The Biafra Voice International, BVI, established in London, also split into 3 or more factions. The Radio Biafra in London split into 2 factions, one called RBL and the other RBI. In fact, almost all the Biafran organizations are split into various factions in the quest to achieve Biafra. Some people are worried about these splits and disagreements without understanding that it is the will of God. For even the great Apostle Paul and Barnabas, who were called and ordained together by God to work as a team in Acts 13:2, also split up in their second missionary journey in Acts 15:36-41 for a divine purpose. The splits are a blessing in disguise, provided we understand how to use the splits to our advantage instead of attacking and destroying one another. All the factions of the Biafran independence struggle have done very well in spreading the message of Biafra and have jointly accomplished the phase 1 of the Biafran independence project through their various activities. The Radio Biafra London, under the leadership of Nnamdi Kanu, helped to create awareness of the Biafran struggle to all parts of the world, with the Biafran activists in the social media, bloggers, tweeters, protesters, cartoonists, propagandists, etc. They have all done very well. All the Biafran activists who have helped in achieving the awareness creation phase 1 of the struggle are greatly honored and shall be remembered in the chronicles of history of Biafra in due course. The question now is this: after the awareness creation, what's next? As I stated in my previous messages, the Biafran Independence Project is teamwork. It is like a team in a football contest where the players pass the ball from one person to the other until they pass it to the player at the vantage position who will strike the ball into the goal post to score the winning goal. It is like a relay race in athletics where the first athlete runs his path and hands the baton to the next athlete and the next to the next until the baton is handed over to the last athlete, who will reach the finishing line of victory. The victory belongs to the team and not to an individual. The glory is shared by all the team players and not ascribed to one man, because the player who scored the goal would not have done so if the teammate had not passed the ball to him. And the athletes who reached the finishing line with the baton would not have done so if the last athlete had not handed the baton over to him. The person who started the race may not be the person who will reach the end, but the victory belongs to all. Moses brought the Israelites out from Egypt, but it was Joshua that led them into the promised land. We are into a spiritual movement known as National Deliverance Ministry, for it is the perfect will of God that all nations in bondage must be set free, and all the people who were oppressed by the rulers of darkness in high places of political and economic wickedness shall be delivered. God shall reward every worker in this ministry according to his works. We are now at the phase 2 of the Biafran Independence Project. The ball has been passed to us and the baton has been handed over to us as a team to create Biafran regional governments within Nigeria, just like Scotland within Britain. It is teamwork with dedicated and experienced players. Unless Nigeria disintegrates in our generation by an act of God or by high-level international politics, as happened to the USSR in 1991, it will not be feasible to gain outright independence today. There shall be the phase 3 of the Biafran projects for outright independence in the future after we finish our part today. Our assignment is clear, namely, to create the Biafran regional government within Nigeria, just like Scotland within Britain. We shall lay a solid foundation for our children who shall finish the work in their own generation. The Israelites were slaves in Egypt for 430 years, but maintained their indigenous identities as Hebrews from generation to generation until the 5th generation when Moses was born. I am persuaded that God shall raise the Biafran team that will achieve outright independence in future. Consequently, for the Biafran Project Phase 2 to create Biafra as a regional government within Nigeria, it is necessary for the project team to have a leader. I therefore accept to provide leadership required to actualize the Biafran Project Phase 2 and shall work under the Supreme Council of Elders of Indigenous People of Biafra, which believes in the legal methodology of self-determination. We shall continue with the original vision as it was in the beginning when we created the body known as the Indigenous People of Biafra, under Section 40 of the Nigerian Constitution and took the Federal Republic of Nigeria to court for the independence of Biafra. As we defined in court, in suit number FHC/OW/CS/102/2012, reconstituted in 2013 as suit number FHC/OW/192/2013. Independent people of Biafra are the remnants of Biafra and their descendants who were not consumed in the war between Nigeria and Biafra, now inhabiting the three contiguous geopolitical regions of the southeast parts and the south-south and the parts of the middle belt of Nigeria. It is not a group or a limited liability company, but a nation as defined by the vision bearer. All Biafrans are indigenous people of Biafra. It is not a cult that admits members by oaths and fetish practices. We have made it clear to the Nigerian government that we are Biafrans by indigenous identity, but Nigerians by citizenship, which was forced upon us against our will. We made strong legal submissions in the Federal High Court of Nigeria, which the Nigerian lawyers could not impugn, that what Biafrans lost after the war was its sovereignty and not the identity of its people. We have therefore decided to regain our sovereignty as guaranteed by both the Nigerian law and the international law. The definition of indigenous people of Biafra in their ancestral habitation remains the definition of the Biafran territory in the Federal High Court as a nation in waiting, which the Nigerian government has taken judicial notice of. The actual delineation and mapping of the territory shall be done in due course and due process. This definition covers all Biafrans. Please ignore the Biafran maps circulating in the social media as they have no legitimacy. We are a people inhabiting a definable geographical location, but without delineation yet as a sovereign entity. We are Biafrans living in a Nigerian territory. It is our ancestral lands forcefully occupied by the Nigerian government. We are a nation, but not yet a nation state. We are non-legal entity which can only sue or be sued in a representative capacity. The indigenous people of Biafra, which was sued by the federal government of Nigeria and declared as terrorists, is the one registered as a limited liability company in the overseas and not the people of the Federal High Court in suit number FHC/OW/CS/192/2013. In the case between Biafra and Nigeria under the leadership of the elders. We run a customary government under the Nigerian legal systems to this end. I recognize and accept all the Biafrans as indigenous people of Biafra, whether activists or non-activists, irrespective of their political ideologies and beliefs. I consider all the factions of indigenous people of Biafra as one body, whether described as CG IPOB, MNK IPOB, or DOS IPOB, knowing that most of the Biafrans were sincere but sincerely confused and misled, even unto death, with their sincerity and innocence. I therefore welcome all the remnants of the Biafrans into the one fold of the Biafran community government, to exercise their rights of self-determination, to have a recognized territorial homeland in their ancestral habitats. The concluding parts will come later. Barrister Emeka Emekesiri, Esquire, Chairman, IPOB Biafra Project, by the authority of the Supreme Council of Elders of Indigenous People of Biafra. Thank you very much and God bless you.